Well, hey, there you are, Sonia here. Welcome to Out Here on the Farm. It was getting late in the evening, and my dad usually went out to the barn to check on the cow and make sure that she was okay and safe and feed her or what have you. But he realized the cow was not there, so he got to looking around the barn and outside the barn. It wasn't anywhere to be found. So he came in the house and he informed our family that we're all going out to hunt for the cow. By the time we got everything together, it was shadows had already fallen all around. It was pretty dark. They never thought to take a light. I don't know why they never, because it was usually pretty good about things like that. But off we took, me and my mom and dad, and my two brothers, started going out into the woods of all things, hunting for this cow. And they were hollering for her and calling for her, and never was no reply for sure. We wandered around out there for hours, calling that cow and looking for her. I don't know why they didn't give up at a point that it was getting so dark and getting cold, and there was no response to the cow finding any sight of her anywhere. Wandered around out there and wandered around out there, calling for that old cow. Well, I began to get really tired, so my dad decided to build a big old fire out there in the woods. Mom and I would stay there, and him and his sons would go ahead and start looking for her. So Mom sat down by the fire, a huge fire, and I sat down and laid my head on her lap and fell asleep. I was tuckered out. That's what we called it back then, tuckered out. Well, no sign of Dad and my brothers for a long time. Finally, they showed up. There was no finding that cow anywhere. So they decided they're going to turn around and go back home, put the fire out, made sure it was safely put out. Started walking, wandered around out there, searching, running into limbs and bushes and cockleburrs and what have you out there. I thought this has got to be the craziest thing I've ever attempted to do with my folks. They just take us out into any kind of situations. So we were walking. It was just getting really late at night. We began to wonder if we was lost. And as we was walking, I got up on my dad's shoulders as he used to haul me around when I was really small. I can remember that so clearly. Sitting up there on his shoulders and just walking. What a load I must have been to carry. But I wasn't very big, so we walked ahead and Mom and my brothers was behind. And all of a sudden, my dad and I fell into some sort of a hole and disappeared right before my mom's eyes. Well, if you've heard me tell stories about my mother, she was kind of radical about things and got upset about things very easily. And she said, I remember her saying, "Oh, my Lord, they've fallen into a well." Well, we climbed out of there, got up out of there and got safe. I started walking again. And as we was walking, I thought, will we ever get home? Can we ever get home? That old cow's not worth this. Let her find her way home herself. And as I said, it was pitch dark. And way down at the end of the pathway, there was a path we finally got on. I saw a light swinging back and forth and slowly walking toward us. It just radiated light everywhere. Way down the pathway, walking toward us. Who in the world was coming out there in the middle of the night with a lantern? We didn't have these nice LED lights and stuff back then. We had lanterns. It got closer and closer. And there was my brother Douglas. He said he thought we were crazy out there all night long looking for that old cow. And he figured we were lost or hurt or something. And decided to come looking for us. Well, that picture of him coming down towards us with a light and a lantern swinging back and forth is still so vivid in my mind. Now, there are times in our life that we wander off searching for things that's not found. We keep wandering into darkness, don't we? Sometimes we do. And that's understandable because we have a purpose out there to be looking for something. But then, all of a sudden, here comes a little light shining towards us. That little light is a direction, it's a pathway, it's an understanding. Gives us enlightenment, doesn't it? And we follow that light and realize our big brother has come to rescue us. This is what the Lord does with us sometimes. When we wander off the pathway, we don't even know what we're doing out there. He can find us anywhere and has a guidance and a direction for us. And then you are so happy to be home. I'll tell you, and later on, the next day, we had a neighbor come up, knocking on my dad's door and said, "Have you got a cow that you've lost somewhere, wandered off?" He said, "Well, there's one at my farm, and I need you to come get her." So see, the cow was safe because he put her in place of pen with a barn and stuff. And all that hunting, all that searching out there, wandering around at night, taught me a good lesson that sometimes you need to have an understanding where you're going, a direction. And also, there can be a rescue come for you looking. Your big brother will come and find you. I hope you enjoyed this little story that I share with you today, and I so look forward to the next time to tell another story. And so, until next time.